What's up, everyone? Whoopie Boy back. Today we're gonna talk about why I remain extremely bullish on Pokemon, on the Pokemon hobby, on not just the trading card game, but on all things Pokemon, and why I think that even today, even in 2026, people are underestimating the the love for Pokemon, the power of of the IP, um, and why I think operating a business in this space is a slam dunk for the next 5, 10, 15 years and beyond. So I want you to go on YouTube and go to uh, a channel by the name of Pchal, Pchal. Um, they are a, a a Twitch streamer. They're a professional Pokemon video game player. Um, they they stream. It's one guy. He lives in Germany. He has a team behind him, obviously, that helps edit, prepare the videos, etc. But he's a, a, a solo player, and he plays Nuzlocks. If you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, I won't spend too much time diving into it, but it's basically just a way um, to enforce rules on a a normal Pokemon game that make it much harder to play and much more of a challenge and much more fun to play. Super popular kind of part of the Pokemon video game community, and within the community, Peachal is one of, if not the biggest content creators in that space. Um, he's been doing it for at least 5 years at this point, probably five to 10 years, and um, in the summer of 2026, he is currently um, playing a new Nuzlocke Pokemon game called Platinum Kaizo, and he streams on Twitch every day, and then his normal model is he will stream himself playing through these really hard Pokemon games that are fan made, fan created, um, and after he beats the game, he will then create kind of like a movie style YouTube video, 2 3 hour long video showing how, like, what the challenge was, how he beat it. I think it's super entertaining. Um, and while he's actually like going through the challenge itself of playing these really hard games, um, he will upload daily highlight videos on Peach Out Daily, which is a separate channel, just so that people on YouTube can follow the journey without having to go to Twitch. So on Peachal's main channel, and this is I would argue, a very nerdy, very niche thing. Like, it's it's Pokemon, it's the Pokemon video games, it's the older ones. Like, the Platinum Kaizo game is built on the original Pokemon Platinum version, which came out in like 2005 or six, something in that time period. And it's a Nuzlocke, so like a more niche way to play the Pokemon video game. And he's professionally playing this to make a living. And his YouTube channel, where that's the only thing he does, has 1 million subs. Um, a million people subscribe to Pichal to watch this super niche Pokemon video game content. Um, that is that is crazy to me. Um, like, he he obviously like does his content super well and makes it very entertaining. And I have been a huge fan of his channel for years now. Like, this is not the first time that he's done super hard video game playthroughs, but it 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 boggles my mind that um, a million people have similar interest in this to me. Similar super niche interest in this one little part of Pokemon. And he's not the only one. He is not the only professional Nuzlocke player. Like, there are dozens of them with their own YouTube channels that have hundreds of thousands of followers, and there's a whole community built around playing really hard Pokemon games. And what this signals to me is that Pokemon, like, when they released their first video game, red, blue, yellow, they I don't think that they realized how special of a game they made. Like, the game is separate from the TCG, but I think it is just as big of a bedrock for their fan base and for the love of Pokemon as, original base set trading card WotC era love. Like, as a kid, for me, I fell in love with Pokemon through the trading cards, base, jungle, fossil, rocket, gym, all the way up through Neo Destiny. But even after I fell away from collecting cards, I never stopped playing the video games. Um, Through high school, through college, after college, um, I would play every single game that came out. I played Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Emerald was my favorite. I played Gold, Silver, Crystal. I played Diamond and Pearl. Um, I I didn't play it when it came out, but I I went back and played Black and White for the first time a few years ago, and I think that's my favorite game. Spicy take, but I think that's the best Pokemon game. And if you haven't played it, you should definitely uh, try it, because I think that you will fall in love with the plot of the game. How the game ends is just super entertaining. I think it's one of the harder, like, normal games to play, and it has made me have a better understanding and appreciation for the black and white era of cards and just black and white era Pokemon. So I think that, yeah, the video game um, part of Pokemon is just way more powerful than people understand in the TCG space. Um, and I I think, like, an example of this is, like, when I watch Pichel and I watch him play the the games. Uh, like, there is a whole story and, like, a whole struggle that he goes through to beat these challenges that itches that same nostalgic video game competitive itch that I had when I first played these games. And, like, he will the Pokemon that he uses in these games will make me love certain type types of Pokemon more. So, like, an example is Swellow is like it's a Pokemon Ruby Sapphire era Pokemon. Um, it's you know not super popular at all. Like, no one's very few people are collecting Swellow cards. It's like, it is not a very like if you're building your business on flipping Swallow cards, um, that that's dark. But Pichel in one of his um, like runs of a Nuzlocke game, Swellow is his most powerful Pokemon for a bunch of different reasons that are very technical and nerdy that I'm not gonna get into. But like Swellow becomes his favorite Pokemon, the one that like always gets him out of trouble when he's fighting super hard fights, and like the the fan base of Pichal fell in love with this Pokemon. Where to this day, when he sees Talo and Swellow in the game, like there's a nostalgic um, like itch towards that that first run that he did of this particular game, 5 or 6 years ago, and like those little things, at least for me, and I'm sure for other people, make it like it creates that same magical nostalgic itch that makes me love certain Pokemon cards, just like when I was a kid. Like when I see a, a Swellow Pokemon card now, like I don't think like, oh, I didn't collect this as a kid, I don't care, move on. I think, hey, that reminds me of when I had a really good time following one of my favorite content creators doing something cool. And so, yeah, I think that long term, um, communities like that and um, just those those corners of Pokemon are going to become a much bigger influence in the TCG, and I think that like the the card market is going to be boosted by people coming in from those communities who engage with the cards that they love from completely different memories than enjoying the WotC era. Um, so yeah, that's just another angle that I think about when I try to predict where demand for Pokemon will be in 5, 10, 15 years. And one other thing that I'll note too is like in in the Nuzlocke community, it is not just 30 something year olds like me who played the games as a kid. Like there are young people, teenagers following Pichal. There are older people following Pichal. Um, and they're all bonding over like a very deep understanding of the video games mechanics, strategy, and just going through the challenge with him. So it's it it's an it's an evergreen love, I would say. So yeah, so that's the video game angle. I'll also talk about the TV show, you know, which I also think is like a super undervalued part of Pokemon, and I think maybe like a very undertapped resource for Pokemon to keep driving love of the IP and ultimately the cards. So like we all, as a 30 something year old, when I was a kid, Pokemon was on TV all the time, and I watched every single episode, loved it, engaged with the story, and it mirrored what was happening in the game. Like if you play Pokemon Yellow, you get a Pikachu to start, and you run into Team Rocket throughout the game, and the Elite Four members show up in the show, like Misty Brock. Like there's a ton of overlap between the show, the video games, and the card game. Um, but the the show is still running to this day, and new episodes are coming out every day, week. I don't know what the cadence is, but I haven't watched the show since, you know, the first season. And a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, when my kids grow up, I want to get back into the show with them. Um, like where can I go to watch every single episode of Pokemon? And today there is no like whole, there is not one place where you can watch every single Pokemon episode. There's no like, oh, find it on Netflix, find it on even Pokemon's own streaming platform doesn't have it. You you have to go like season by season, buy it on Amazon over here, buy it on HBO over here, or fill in the blank platform where the IP is housed. Um, but you have to pay for it, and you don't pay once for like full access to the content. So very disjointed, and makes it very hard for me as someone who wants to watch the whole show to get everything in one place. And I think that is an opportunity for Pokemon to fix that, get everything bundled and then marketed. And I think that is a whole nother avenue for kids and for parents to fall in love with Pokemon, both like new entrants and people who enjoyed it as a kid who just haven't come back. Um, so all of this to say, um, like the the card game could continue as it is. Interest could ebb and flow, um, and like the same themes that everyone talks about in the card hobby could play out. And I still think that we are undervaluing the global love for Pokemon and the way the levers that Pokemon has um, to bring new people in. Like the latest game, Legends ZA, Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, like those are all breaking sales records, tens of millions of copies sold of these games. And if you read the discourse online, like reviews of this game, they're not particularly amazing. Like people aren't saying, oh my god, this is the greatest game ever. They're saying, it's an okay game. It's a meme that Game Freak like just doesn't put a lot of work into making the games better. They're just recycling the same base over and over again with new mons. But that underscores how strong that original base was. That you know, catching Pokemon, using them to battle, advancing through the game is super fun, addictive, and something that for the last 30 years has been able to be rinsed and repeated to bring millions of people in. So yeah, that's my rambling on why I remain bullish on the space, um, and why I'm going to keep buying cards and not feeling nervous about love for for the Pokemon hobby dying overnight. Um, thanks for watching.